Good morning, I'm Irene. I'll be your examiner today. What is your full name? What would you like to be called? May I see your identification? That's fine, thank you. Now in the first part, I'd like to ask you some general questions about yourself. Let's talk about the town you live in now. Where are you living now?
I have been living in Gangnam District, Jinsadong, which is the central city of South Korea.
What is the neighborhood like?
I live in a more developed area of Seoul. It is quiet and cordial. There are late-night drinking parties where you can hear laughter and talking, but it's rarely overboard or out of control. People like to keep to themselves, and I would actually say hi to my neighbors and strangers, but I only get half the replies most of the time. I realized clearly that it just wasn't that normal to talk to strangers, period.
Do you have any friends there?
Of course I have friends. Although we all live in Seoul, they live quite far away. It's usually 30 to 40 minutes commute by public transport. But usually with our busy schedules and work, we only tend to meet, I would say, twice every 2 months, once every 2 months, not often.
What can be improved in the area where you live?
If I could improve one thing in my neighborhood, it would have to be having more pet-friendly places, such as maybe cafes or restaurants, or even a public dog park for us dog owners to use.
Now, I would like you to talk about the library. Do you go to the libraries often?
Well, as I am no longer a student, I don't go to the library at all. To be honest, I have never been to a library in Korea, and I don't even know where it is.
When was the last time you went to the library?
The last time I went to the library was when I was in college, and that would have been about 10 years ago. I have a blurred memory of what my library actually looked like, and thinking back on it, I don't remember too much of it.
Would you work in a library if you were offered a job there?
It depends. If they offered me a lot of money to work as a librarian, I probably would. But working in such a quiet environment is not for me. I am sure they have many other job requirements other than reorganizing books, but I just can't really see myself working as a librarian in a library.
Do children still visit libraries these days?
With the available technology these days, I believe children in my country rarely goes to the library. Back in the day, educational information was not easily accessible like it is today. Therefore, we had to go to a library to learn from books. But now with just a click of a button, you have all the educational information online, and I would say we're so dependent on it that most people, even children, don't attend libraries anymore.
Let's talk about animals. Do you like watching animals?
I love watching animals. Being a major in animal behavioral and cognition, I find watching animals quite interesting. It's unique to watch different animals solve the same problem using their own different methods.
Do you like to see animals in the zoo?
Honestly, I'm not really into watching animals in the zoo. Don't get me wrong, it's interesting at first because you're able to see all the different type of animals from all over the world. But if you really think about it, they're pretty much prisoners for us human beings to enjoy, and I find that quite sad and disgusting.
Have you ever visited the zoo?
Of course, my parents took me to the zoo quite a few times when I was a child. I did enjoy the zoo when I was a child, but I have changed my perspective on the zoo, and I probably won't be attending any zoo in the near future.
Thank you. Now, let's move on to part 2. I will give you a topic, and I would like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. Before you talk, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say. You may make some notes if you wish. Do you understand? Okay. Here's your paper and a pen. And here's your topic. I would like you to describe a time when you received some incorrect information. Alright, please draw me your pen now. Remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes for this, so don't worry if I stopped you. I will tell you when the time is up. Can you start speaking now, please?
We all rely on information to make decisions in our daily lives, but sometimes the information we receive can be incorrect, misleading, or even if we misheard the correct information, which can be frustrating and embarrassing depending on the situation. One occasion when I received incorrect information was when my college had a costume day where we could dress up for our class for the whole day. I had my outfit planned out, and my plan was dressing up as a scuba diver with all functioning scuba gears, even with the flippers. The big day came where I put on my outfit and headed for school. As I was on my way to school, I was quite surprised by how many people didn't dress up for this day, as most people do every year. Once I got to school, my heart sunk to the ground as no one was dressed up. I flip-flopped my flippers towards the information board and read that the dress-up day was postponed for a week. I found out that we had a big assembly for school, and I realized the information that I received was incorrect, and I was actually the only one dressed up for that day. I was so embarrassed as I had so many eyes on me, but at the end of the day, I tried to make the best of it by taking pictures with friends, professors, and having a great laugh with my peers. Plus, I actually made special appearance during the assembly to show off how great my costume was. This experience taught me the importance of double-checking any information, whether they are right or wrong.
Thank you. May I take the cut paper and pen back? Thank you. We've been talking about a time when you received some incorrect information. I would like to discuss with you one or two more general questions related to this topic. First, let's talk about jobs and information. What kind of jobs require providing information to people?
There are many different types of jobs that require providing information to people. To name a few, we have tourist guides who give information and directions from point A to point B. They also give very important information that can be critical for your well-being, such as avoiding dangerous areas and setting curfews for your safety. To name another job that provides information to people are customer service representatives. They give you information such as how to send a broken gun if it needs fixing.
What skills or qualities do people need to be able to provide information?
Some skill or qualities needed to be able to provide information are clear communication skills, adaptability, patience, and of course, taking responsibilities. Clear communication skill is important because you will be providing information to people and have to be clear for others to understand. Adaptability and patience is required because you might be giving information to someone who speaks a different language. Thus, communication might be an issue and you will have to think of other ways for them to understand. And finally, taking responsibility. If you provide the wrong information, of course, you will have to take responsibility for that action.
Why do some people have more correct information than others?
Some people have more correct information than others because they have more knowledge in that area of expertise. For example, both police and firefighters work in the emergency department. But a firefighter may have more knowledge on fighting fires compared to a police officer, as police officers are more trained to deal with criminals.
Now, I would like you to talk about facts and information. How can we find the correct information?
With the ease of access of the internet, we can usually find the correct information online by searching for it, or you could ask someone who is very knowledgeable in that field.
Do people rely more on facts than correct information?
I think people rely more on facts compared to correct information. Facts are proven to be true and are always backed up with evidence. The problem with correct information is that it can be received or learned about. While correct information may be true, correct information may differ from person to person, which decreases the probability of being correct. Since facts are certainty, people rely more on facts for sure.
Which is more important for the students, facts or correct information?
I believe both facts and correct information is important for students. It is great for students to learn from their mistake, and they will need to learn how to differentiate between facts and correct information. While facts are known to be true, learning how to turn correct information into facts will be a great tool for students to learn.
Thank you. That's the end of speaking test.